I think one of the really big exciting things for me is that I am able to reproduce a little bit of myself into the lives of these wonderful men and women. It's a means for me to extend my mortal life, that I am able to hopefully take good things that are in me and transfer them to these wonderful young entrepreneurs who will carry them forward. My name is Ray Barreth. I have the privilege of being the Africa Director for Faith Driven Investor. I'm a serial entrepreneur. That's pretty much all I know. I've been the CEO of my own companies. I've worked with some great dynamic teams over the last few decades. We've launched companies in the US, in Portugal, in the UK. They've been very brick and mortar companies, from automotive industry to oil and gas to real estate to dairy manufacturing to mergers and acquisitions. They've ranged in size from up $40 million a year in revenue. We've had two that have exceeded $100 million in revenue. One hit $200 million. But I'm not a unicorn kind of guy. I've never launched a unicorn. I'm very much in this small, medium enterprise space. I made my very first trip to Kenya, and I made my very first investment in a Kenyan company in 1986 at the foot of Mount Kenya. It's now 2023, and I'm still waiting for my exit. And since that time, I've been on a journey of just loving entrepreneurs, desiring to help them scale their business models, to the point that finally in 2016, after my last exit, we launched an accelerator program here in Kenya and in Zambia and in Nigeria. And we started out working with early stage companies, and then we launched our growth lab, which became known as Venture Village, V2 Growth Lab. Today, I have the privilege of being the entrepreneur in residence at Synapis, and my work is focused on the Ascent program, which is a later stage high growth accelerator for high potential entrepreneurs. I also wear a second hat where I'm the East Africa Director for Faith Driven Investors. The Faith Driven Investor, Faith Driven Entrepreneur movement is a movement that was launched from my very good friend and partner, Henry Kasner, in the US, and now it covers huge parts of Africa and Asia. And it's a real movement of faith-driven entrepreneurs and investors coming together, collaborating together to bring the resources that entrepreneurs need. In Zambia, during our Venture Village Accelerator, we had a founder that we were investing in. And of course, I was new to the scene. I didn't understand all the cultural implications, and I didn't really understand how important it was to be culturally aware of the differences between entrepreneurs here in Africa and entrepreneurs in the West. So we made an investment, and things were going along well, except after about 2 or 3 months, the money that we had put into the company, we found was soon disappearing at an alarming rate. So what we discovered was that this beloved brother who was leading this company was also the leader of his tribe. And so as soon as he came into money, well, other members of his tribe, other members of his family had needs, financial needs. And he was the father of the tribe, the leader of the tribe. So they would come to him to help them pay school fees. One elderly gentleman needed a hospital, needed an operation, so they came for hospital fees. And I went and I talked with our entrepreneur, and I said, "Man, you know, the money's disappearing. What's going on?" He said, I know. I'm trying to use this money and keep it focused on the business, but I'm the leader here. And so when people need help, they come to me, and I have an obligation, you know, to help them. And I had no idea about that very unique cultural interaction amongst family members. So we had a decision, what are we going to do? Because soon the money will be gone and the company will be non-existent. So what we did, we gathered all the family members together, and they all came together and we all met. And they were lovely, lovely people. And I said, okay, guys, we have to make a decision today. We're going to have a vote. Either you continue taking the money out of the company, and within the next 5-6 months, the company will be gone, and that'll be it. Or we can stop and think, let's build for the long term. And you can make a commitment not to come and ask for any funds for 5 years. And if you give us 5 years, at the end of that 5-year time, we will come back and we will provide a fund that money will continually go into on a monthly basis to help the family units. So they took a vote, and which one do you think they went for? The second one. And so that company is still prospering today, making more money than it has ever made. They have a family fund, which the family can draw on for just basic needs, for whatever they need, and it's worked out brilliantly. But I didn't understand that, and I didn't know that when I first came to Africa. So that was a big learning point for me, that the extended family is important, and that you have to take the family as a whole into consideration. It's not just the founder, not just the business, but it's the family. For me, the right mindset for mentoring is to develop the mindset of a servant. You know, at the end of the day, the entrepreneurs are the leaders in their ecosystem. It's not the mentors, it's not the investors, it's not the universities, it's not the government. It's the entrepreneurs who produce the great quality products that bring innovation to the marketplace. They are the leaders. We are the feeders. The investors, the coaches, the mentors, the accelerators, the government, the universities, all these players who are a part of the local entrepreneurial ecosystem are the feeders. The entrepreneurs are the leaders. So the right mindset initially is to adopt the mindset of a servant. We are here to help, we are here to encourage, we are here to impart a little bit of our knowledge so that they might be successful. I think one of the really big exciting things for me is that I am able to reproduce a little bit of myself into the lives of these wonderful men and women that are out there birthing innovation and providing great products and services to their customers. You know, there's a principle in life that says this: each species produces after its own kind. That's why cows produce cows, and chickens produce chickens, and people produce people. And what's in you, you will reproduce in the lives of those around you. So for me, it's a means for me to extend my mortal life, that I am able to hopefully take good things that are in me and transfer them to these wonderful young entrepreneurs who will carry them forward into the next generation. Well, I have a little different way of thinking. I have been benefited, of course I have, but I'm not here for me to get benefit. You know, if you're a true servant and if you're here to serve, then it's not the benefit that I get from it, it's the benefit that I give to my mentees, to my entrepreneurs. So one thing I've learned is that God has called me to be obedient, not to be successful. So in one way, it's a little irrelevant what benefit I get. I do get benefits. The important thing is that I obey my Lord and Savior, and that He's given me an ability and He's given me a gift to impart good things from my own life and my own experience into the lives of these fellow entrepreneurs. That is reward enough. Well, I think there are several things that lead to failure for an entrepreneur. Number one, not having the right entrepreneurial mindset will definitely lead to failure. We have this thing that we call innovator's bias, which is true of every entrepreneur on the planet. We all of us who are entrepreneurs, we all love we love our solution. And we think that our solution is the best solution on the planet. And rather than being customer focused, we end up being solution focused. And that bias will definitely lead to failure. Success means that we focus on our customers, that we deliver products and services that they need to holistically improve their life. But there are also other things that will lead to failure, particularly in frontier and emerging markets. And I think the biggest thing that leads to failure is just a lack of resources for these entrepreneurs. And those resources can be a lack of training. They just need good, solid entrepreneurial business modeling training. There's a lack of financial resources. They don't have the finances that we do in the West to get their businesses going. And then thirdly, they don't have good coaches. They don't have good mentors. They don't have people who have experience coming alongside them to help them achieve their greatness. I believe there are several differences between mentoring and coaching. Let's start off with coaching. Coaching is a very useful discipline to help your coachee to come to their own moment of self-awareness, to come to a moment where the light bulb goes on inside the head and they say, oh, aha, I get it. I understand what I'm supposed to do. It's evolving into a professional discipline. So there are a lot of different coaching associations where you can become certified. I think the largest one is the ICF, International Coaching Federation. I have a certification from them. And yes, I think an entrepreneur can get some benefit from a good professional, highly trained coach. But mentoring is different. Mentoring is joining together with your mentee to walk the journey with them. So my requirements for a mentor are something like this. I want my mentor to be an entrepreneur. If they're mentoring entrepreneurs, they should be an entrepreneur, or at least an innovator, an intrapreneur, an innovator within an existing company. They should be a little further along than their mentee. It doesn't mean that they have to be leading a $100 million revenue company, no. But if your mentee is an entrepreneur that has a company that's doing $1 million a year in revenue, well, you should be a little further along. You should be doing $2 million, $3 million, maybe $5 million a year in revenue. Your processes should be a little more developed. Your business model should be more mature. Your pathways to your customers should be more sustainable. So you're a little ahead of the person that you're mentoring. That way you add real value. A mentor is someone who has been there and done it. They've sat in the seat of the mentee. They can relate to the pain, to the experiences that that mentee is having. And so he gives a heartfelt response as well as an educated response, but that response is born out of his own experience. And to me, that's the difference. And that's why I believe being a mentor brings something very, very special to that entrepreneur relationship. Yes, I think there are some good resources out there that I would encourage you to look up and find. Just Google. There are some great books on Amazon on working in frontier and emerging markets, whether they're African or whether they're Asian or Latin American. Get yourself educated and learn from other people who have been out there doing it. I brought one resource with me. It's called The Culture Key, Successful Investing in Entrepreneurship in Frontier and Emerging Markets. It's a great book, a great introduction to these frontier markets that will help you in being a good mentor. It's written by Kurt Laird, who's a member of our community here in Kenya. He is here now mentoring. He's also accelerating faith-driven entrepreneurs. So this is a great resource. You can get it on Amazon. But I would say, I would encourage you, just jump in with both feet. You will enjoy working with frontier and emerging markets entrepreneurs. If you have a desire to serve, if you have a history of entrepreneurship, there's a lot that you can give. You don't need an MBA from Harvard to be a good mentor. And these entrepreneurs here in Africa, in Asia, don't need Harvard MBAs. If you are one, that's great. But what's needed is someone who will listen to them, someone who understands their problem of solving big problems, who understands what it means to build out a solid business model on how you create, how you deliver, how you capture value. They need people who they can relate to. And you are an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship is universal. So don't hesitate. If you've been thinking about this and you've been praying about this, reach out, join Ardent, become one of their global mentors, and change the world through entrepreneurship.